myself, Danny Troy, who is working with the linemen and on both sides of the ball. David Carlin, who was a graduate of St. Joe's, who played for me. He is working defensively with the linebackers, the defensive backs, and then he works with the receivers on offense. Larry, your brother Larry, who is working with the defensive tackles, and he's going to handle our special teams. And he's going to coordinate all our video scouting through some new software that we've purchased this year, kind of bringing us into the 21st century. And on the JV staff, we got Jimmy Lidner as our head coach, who was a graduate of 1979. He, along with Dennis McLaughlin from the class of 80, and both Jimmy and Tony Fermato. I think Tony was 76, and Jimmy was 79.
Tony was 77.
Was he 77?
Senior.
Okay. And then on the freshman level, Paul Neese is back as the head coach, coming off an undefeated season they had last year, the first one since my freshman year in 1980. And he's going to be joined by Paul Lavulo, who's a graduate of St. Joe's, 81, went on to Syracuse. He has twin boys that are coming into the program next year, along with my oldest son. Matt Collard and Danny Devlin, who both, Luke Collard, Luke and Danny Devlin, who both graduated in, I believe, '02. So we got some youth, and Mike Shoecraft, who was one of the gym teachers at school. He also coaches baseball. He is going to be our first football coach that's on staff in school.
That's great.
Which is going to be a tremendous asset to us.
Coach, it's funny, in the Wall Street Journal, there was a quote, and it was from Steve Messler, who won the U.S. Olympic Championship four-man bobsled. And he says that it's important for our kids to be proud of where they come from and to realize you can do anything coming from Buffalo. The success that the St. Joe's football players have had, because most of the kids are coming, we talk about diversity, we got a lot of kids from middle-class backgrounds of humble origin who fit very well in a college scheme of things, in a college program, much more so than the world that I'm in here in the New York metropolitan area, where we have too much media and too much staritis. But maybe you can talk about the, these kind of kids, and you've seen them go out and play college football and how well they've done. St. Joe's kids wearing, they always say on TV when they're talking about this kid graduated from St. Joe's. Maybe you could talk about that for a second, Coach.
Well, I think traditionally our kids we're blue collar. Our parents work hard to send us to school. We work hard academically, and we work extremely hard athletically. Our kids genuinely like each other. They get along very well. And I think a lot of that is because we are so blue collar, that the kids all know what a sacrifice their parents are making to send them to school there. That it transpires or transfers into how they adapt with each other. They're all kind of on the same page when they start. And I think that's important, because nobody has this feeling of entitlement when they're there. There's approximately 70% of the school right now this year is getting some facet of financial aid, whether it's work study or some, academic scholarships or just financial aid, It's very humbling for the kids. I think that they all have some skin in the game, so to speak. They're there because they want to be there, and they know the enormous sacrifice that mom and dad are making, especially in this day and age, to send them there. And the quality of the kid and the effort that we get out of them it's representative of the sacrifice that's being made for them to be there. We've had kids go on and play in the Ivy Leagues, play Division III, II, 1AA, 1A, Super Bowls, in the NFL, playing in the Super Bowl, Grey Cups up in Canada, enormous bowl games of large magnitude. And the 23 years that I've coached at St. Joe's, when I see those kids, some of them, I coached them 20 years ago. It's always, hey, coach. It's never anything different than it was when I first was coaching them. They're a little bit bigger, a little bit older. Some of them have endured tremendous success athletically, but it doesn't change them, you know. I just had conversation last week with one of the alums that just graduated from UB, who's with the Bills right now, who's going to do some mentoring with some of our kids this year, this summer, that are looking for some extra, I think, influence. And he voluntarily came to me and asked if there was anything he could do with any of the kids, you know. At a young age, that's an awful lot to give back, you know, but it's unique in one sense, but it doesn't surprise me because of what they're taught when they're here with us.
What does the word coach mean to you?
Mentor, almost like a father figure, someone you got to trust enormously, someone that you have to trust and not question.
Joe? Is that, oh, sorry. Sorry, Coach.
Trust and not question, but someone that you're ready to run through the wall for, if asked to be.
You know, Coach, when you hear the word coach physically, when a kid says that to you, I've talked to several coaches. One of the coaches told me, I'm 78 years old. I've hit every mecca of success. I've been coaching for 55 years, but I get a little tickle up my spine, and it goes right into my brain, and I get a little buzz. You know, when they were interviewing Bobby Knight, and the New York Times was interviewing him after he broke the NCAA coaching record, and they said, Coach, what does this win mean to you? And Bobby Knight said, it would really mean something to me if it was done on the high school level. So here you know, two questions. One, physically, I know I have the utmost respect because I'm a frustrated coach, and I have to, you know, fortunately I've been successful in the business world, so I have my own world that I have to focus in on. So in my small way, I can do a little coaching in terms of cheerleading people on, especially my 4 daughters. And, you know, my job is to be a cheerleader. My job is to cheerlead my daughters and to cheerlead you at St. Joe's and support you in ways that I can. You know, it's, you know, a lot of fellas out there from St. Joe's are going to see this and say, how can I help the coach? What can I do to help him? You know, I think, first of all, the most important thing is to reach out and get connected. Get connected with your classmates. Get connected to St. Joe's. Don't forget where you came from and what you're all about. But maybe you have something to say on that, Coach.
For anybody who's been a part of the school, the institution, the family, really the program, come back. Come back and see it. It's new, it's different. The structure and the facilities are new and improved. I think that the tradition and the lessons that are being learned and the education that's being given is the same, if not better. And if you're seeing this and this is what your connection is or has been haven't had for years, come back. We'd love to see you guys come back. It's fantastic. And once you come back, you're going to want to get involved. It's very infectious. It's as infectious as it was when you went to school there.
Right, so I would recommend that they reach out. And the other thing, too, is financially, you can reach out to Bob Scott and call at St. Joe's and tell him how you want to support the program if you'd like to.
Absolutely.
Financially, with ideas or time. And we're all open to ideas.
Absolutely.
So reaching out to the school is great. Well, Coach, it's been such a great honor to have you here today, and we're so excited to have you at the greatest sports club to be the opening venue for the kickoff of your football season. I'm looking forward to hearing all the stories and lessons that all our future generations are going to be able to share with me. And God bless us both that we get the benefit of time and wisdom to fully participate in all of that.